Hello, this is The Side Show. I'm Theodore Parker, and this is Tuesday, November 9th, 2021. Still talking about wearing the mask, still trying to get that education factor out there about the importance of the vaccine. Children ages 5 to 11, 6 to 12, are now are now being provided a vaccine. I think that started yesterday, Monday. So there you have that. Our positivity rate in this area is still hovering a little bit above 5%. They're giving some global numbers out as far as the effects of COVID-19 worldwide. You might want to check some of those. Still getting news flashes from the weekend events at Astro World in Texas, Travis Scott's performance, and 50,000 people as a crowd in attendance. So, I'm kind of looking at some other things as we go. High Court to hear Texas case about prayer during executions. So it seems that they're debating that since death penalty has not been completely ruled out. It's just invoked on certain occasions by the president to allow that to go forward. The Supreme Court is set to hear arguments in the case about whether Texas must allow a chaplain to pray audibly and touch a prisoner during an execution. Next, GOP lawmaker under fire over enemy videos showing him killing AOC. More than half a dozen House members and others condemned Representative Paul Gosar, representative from Arizona, after he tweeted an altered enemy video depicting attacks on Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from New York, and President Biden. A Twitter spokesperson said the company had placed a warning flag on the tweet for violating its hateful conduct policy. So there you have it. Capitol Hill. Talking about the events in Texas again, Drake does issue a statement today, first statement after Astroworld tragedy. The rapper, who made a surprise appearance at Travis Scott's music festival in Houston that left 8 people dead, said his heart is broken following a devastating tragedy. At least 17 lawsuits have been filed alleging that Scott, concert promoter Live Nation, and others involved in the event, including Drake, were responsible for a deadly crowd surge. I think it's already come to my attention that Travis had made some comments almost immediately afterwards that he did notice people needing help from the stage, but he wasn't able to stop the concert. And I think I saw some other video of some other people in the crowd verifying that that is what happened. But he has since offered to handle all funeral costs for all the victims of those circumstances at the concert. So both Drake and him have expressed their sympathy and that they're heartbroken that this has happened. Scientists fight a new source of vaccine misinformation, Aaron Rodgers. It's always kind of surprising to me And I guess just kind of relates back to my validating that everybody's entitled to an opinion. But when they choose to have one, I guess is what kind of strikes me. But anyway, the Green Bay Packers quarterback, one of the most visible athletes in the U.S., used anti-vaccination rhetoric as his reasoning for not getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Many of Rogers' statements in his interview that broke the news echo those made by people in the anti-vax movement. So I had to kind of make a note on that one because, you know, like I said before, some things just kind of strike you, you know, as a country with scientists and medicine constantly advancing those things that seem like hurdles, tuberculosis, pneumonia, polio, E. coli, Ebola, all those things that have been met seem to be insurmountable, have been overcome and dealt with and provided a barrier for in the future is just what we were facing with COVID-19. And then especially viewing the fact that it is airborne. You know, all those terms that you get for infections, upper respiratory infection, bronchitis, bronchial pneumonia, common cold, the flu. I just don't feel good. And again, I review the fact that children have to be vaccinated, you know, to start attending school. They're just now opening the United States up for vaccinated travel by international people, international travelers. So it just, you know, behooves one to think or give pause as to what the objection is when these things are voiced like this about the vaccine. Anyway, or about COVID-19 vaccinations. Island nation threatened by sea level rise looks for salvation. Tuvalu, an idyllic South Pacific atoll consisting of 9 islands, is slowly sinking due to rising sea levels. So, Finance Minister Steve Pruitt says, excuse me, so it doesn't seem like it, but remember just had a climate change meeting and UN is wading in on some things regarding world affairs. As we are now living in the climate change, we are now living in the climate change in Tuvalu. We are seeing land fast disappearing, he said in an interview at a UN climate conference. The world needs to take action now. So there you have it. I just on things that I've seen, things that have been happening. I'm watching YouTube the other day, and you know, even though this thing is happening in Astroworld, music has a lot of ongoing interest for a lot of people. So George Benson was being interviewed by of all people, Jeff Bezos. I couldn't believe it. I kept wanting to say, is that the Bezos? But it is. And they were sitting there having guitar conversations. Conversations about guitars, riffing, and scales, and why George Benson plays this and why he plays that. And Jeff Bezos was playing his guitar with him too. So you never know about what interests people might have. So just wanted to kind of throw that in there. U.S. Vice President Harris arrives in Paris for a 4-day fence mending trip. You know, Paris has been in the news about fishing between England and Paris and I don't know whether they failed to help somebody that was in distress or something. But a lot has to do with whatever the fishing laws and agreements are between England and France. So she might be going there to see about that by President Harris or be involved in something. So anyway, I brought up Jeff Bezos because during a UN meeting or UN conference or conference at the UN, there was a comment made that with everybody being billionaires, they could contribute. This, I think, it's the world's billionaires, not just the United States billionaires, but the world's billionaires could get together and contribute $6 billion toward feeding the world. So from this comment or from this invitation, Elon Musk offered to sell a percentage of the shares he has in Tesla, which would have resulted in 21 billion or something like that. And he could have give whatever X amount it was to them. So, billionaires unite type calls to duty or calls to action, whatever, to get $6 billion to feed the world's hungry. And it begs back to early statements, people so rich they could feed everybody or do something for everybody and not even miss the money. So now you have a real-time, real-world example of this invitation being extended by the United Nations to billionaires only. So I turn right back around, channel surfing, and see a car advertised on TV. I'm looking at it. It seems to be in the SUV format. It's white on white in white. And mats and everything in the cars, being displayed as a video tour. And on the back mat, as you open the hatch, it has billionaires on it. Billionaires. And then on the floor mats, billionaires. On the pattern, on the white lining on the doors, it's like the B symbol. Floor mats, billionaires. So I'm presuming that this car is for billionaires. If you're in the Billionaires Club, you might want to take a look at it. It is a Rolls Royce. That's it. Hashtag.